What's going on, guys? This is Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA Podcast. Tonight I am joined by Anthony Tumminello and Dan Canine's Cion. Guys, how you doing?
How are you today, sir? Very, very nice to see you, and thank you for having us on.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure working with you in the past, and looking forward to doing stuff in the future.
We're doing good. I'm a little tired. Anthony just kicked my ass downstairs in some strength and conditioning, but other than that, thanks for having us again. Like Anthony said, it's been a pleasure working with you before, and looking forward to doing this right now.
Absolutely. Take us a little through your little workout, what you guys were doing. You were sweating your ass off. I know it's hot outside, but tell us a little bit what you guys were doing.
Well, with Danny's, his endurance is actually through the roof. He actually just told me, a story that he went to his doctor recently, and his resting heart rate was around 46. Now, that literally is like an Olympic marathon runner. Now, Danny, he's got a lot of muscle. Judging by that, people wouldn't understand that. But, I take him through a lot of endurance, functional stuff, full body stuff. But he handles it like a champ endurance-wise. And then when I add the resistance to it, like the combinations, all that other stuff, his heart rate doesn't seem to, escalate like normal people will. No, I'm not saying he's superhuman by any means.
Takes more than...
Yeah, there's no question. So, his resting heart rate was probably low to begin with, as he was growing up as an adolescent, athlete. But when, his heart rate is at 46 resting, that is incredible. So that just means, and again, as a strength and conditioning coach, little notations that we actually, keep in our brain, that just means I know where his threshold is going to be. And it's at a high level. So what I did today is we did a combination of stuff, a lot of full body functional. I always hit a lower body kettlebell. Lately I've been hitting that. And then I wanted to actually focus on cleans today. So cleans obviously is a technique, but it's a really, really big strength power movement combined. But a lot of people teach it wrong. So we were actually just playing with the motion with him today. And as far as the technique, he didn't realize that I'm trying not to gas him out immediately, so I try to go a little lighter because we're doing a lot of high-intensity stuff, like I said. But, training like an MMA guy, a boxer, their endurance level is incredible to begin with at the functional rate. But then when we add the power and the strength, that's why I love training, pro fighters, to be quite honest with you. But, yeah, Danny takes a lot of stuff, man. He puts a lot of these videos up, of what we do. And people are impressed. And I'm not that guy. Like I said, it's not about bells and whistles and trying to impress people and jumping off, ladders and doing all this crazy stuff. I don't keep it simple, but I keep it just enough that we know the human anatomy and how the body moves. So that's basically what it is. And he's the perfect, specimen to do this shit with.
It's funny what Anthony said about the videos. I'll get a lot of people that will see what I'll do, and they'll tell me that that's easy. And then they try it.
I'm sure.
And they can't do it. So I had an EKG the other day, and it was 46 resting heart rate. When I used to compete professionally, it was actually lower. That's actually up a little bit. It used to set off the EKG machine as not working. It happened on 3 occasions getting ready for fights where they couldn't read my resting heart rate. Back to the superhuman thing, definitely superhuman. So, we'll definitely go with that one. But, no, I like coming here with Anthony, whether I'm competing, whether I'm not. One, I learn a lot. I'm big on asking why. Why are we doing this? Been doing this for a long time, and I like to spread the little bit of knowledge I know, but I also still like to learn. When Anthony writes my diet, it's really me writing my diet. I go over with him what I think I should do, and I let him use his mastery, I guess you could say, and his magic
put those adjustments
in. Yeah, put
in.
a little adjustments in, and then I'll ask him why. His wizardry. I call him the mad scientist.
Waves the wand.
Yeah. But like I said, I want to know why. But, it's funny, we had a friend, and when Anthony talks about keeping it kind of simple, we had a friend that wanted a diet, and Anthony, the guy saw me a couple weeks later. He's like, Anthony talks about he's this great nutritionist. He's like, thought I was going to get to eat all these certain things, and it was the basic things I get from everybody else. It was like, yo, bro, this is what works. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it,
Absolutely.
So,
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, so, I think he likes beating me up a little bit. He likes seeing me aggravated, tired. I just start talking trash when I get real tired and make him laugh so I can get out of it a little bit. But
Well, take us through your former MMA fighter, grappler, kickboxer. Take us through your career.
Former pro MMA fighter, actually pro MMA champ out of Pennsylvania, out of this organization called the XFE. I was pro kickboxer, just retired, the ISKA champ, and I fought pro boxing. I lost that fight, and I still compete in grappling here and there. I won Pan Ams as a blue belt. Just got my purple about 2 years ago, so I like staying active because you never know. You can jump right back in, just be ready to go. But it's a lifestyle. You can't just turn it off and walk away.
And I would assume training and weightlifting, everything changes when you're competing. MMA, boxing, to grappling, everything changes to what you're doing.
It's go muscles. It ain't show muscles.
Yeah, those fast twitch muscles.
Yeah, you can look at people down there. They look. We were having this conversation today. I said to him, it's funny is all these dudes that are putting up crazy weight and they think they're strong. You grab one of them and they crumble because they don't know what real strength is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easy to push weight, but so.
What Danny was saying, like, we go back to diet and stuff like that. People don't understand, like, there's basic, what they call macronutrients, micronutrients, all that other stuff. But macros, it's a new term and it annoys me. All that means is that's the fats, that's the proteins, and that's the carbs. You know what I'm saying? So when people understand when you're dieting, you have to revolve everything around that and calorie-based and a either calorie surplus or a calorie deficit. All right. So when people understand, when they hear diet or they hear all that, they immediately think about Weight Watchers and counting points and all this bull crap. You know what I'm saying? When you really want to achieve something, especially, again, an athlete, a fighter, a bodybuilder, whatever the case, a fitness model, and you got to get to a certain level, I always say you want to look like a gladiator. You got to eat like a gladiator. And that's something, someone told me that a long, long time ago, and I understood that. So what that means is back in the day, the gladiators, there wasn't an ounce of fat on them. You see all those sculptures that Michelangelo, you know what I'm saying? That's real people.
Yeah, they didn't look like Buddha.
Correct. So they were eating, what were they eating? Meat, potatoes, and greens. You know what I'm saying? They weren't eating rainbow cookies, or counting points or doing all that stuff. So the diet aspect of that, people really don't really understand. And the accountability and numbers, that's another thing that I have a pet peeve about. I hear tons of trainers and strength coaches, most of these idiot trainers that have they have the education of a fly. You know what I mean? So I hear them say, oh, the numbers don't matter. It's how you look. Don't worry about that. Look in the mirror. Okay, mirrors lie based on angles and lighting. Selfies lie based on all the crap you can do with it. Okay, so you're full of it. So that's a pet peeve I've always had. And tons of trainers, don't worry about the numbers. I always say this. This is something it's been bothering me lately. But I get on these kicks like him. So it's been bothering me lately. So how do you win a game? Right? By the most points, right?
Absolutely.
So what are points? Numbers. So when I put someone on a scale, what is that? A number. When I do someone's body fat, what is that? A number. Numbers don't lie. Trainers and bullcrap people do. So all those frauds in the industry, honestly, they should be ashamed of themselves, And the other thing is, then you have all these nutritionists or call themselves nutritionists or whatever the case. And honestly, they're the worst out of shape people I've ever met in my life. That's another thing, you know what I mean? So what I always have to say this. Look, you live the lifestyle, you understand, but the biggest thing, it's not about what you could do to yourself. It's also about what you could do to all of these other people, whether it be pro athletes, all right? Whether it be people that have diabetes, health issues, you know what I'm saying? That's really what a professional actually is about, all right? Strength and conditioning, obviously, that was my first passion. As soon as I got out of college, I went to Cortland, so I got a degree in exercise science and kinesiology.
Okay.
First thing, I was a strength coach for a hockey team, okay? Knew nothing about hockey and still know nothing about hockey. That is the truth. What I did know, right, is that's what I was good at. How do I get these athletes better at what they do? What they do on the ice, what they do on the field, okay? And that's where the science of all of this comes from. And that's what people don't understand. This is not cookie cutter, all right? You see, I train pro boxers, pro MMA guys, everyday, soccer moms, people with diabetes. The nutrition has everything to do with it, So like Danny was saying, yeah.
The Gladiator did a lot of Turkish get-ups.
That is the truth. So we do something called a Turkish get-up again.
We do these for the last 3 weeks now.
Turkish get-ups?
We did a tutorial video how to do it. Then we did them today. Turkish get-ups all day long.
The tutorial video went viral.
I know. I'm famous
Every
now.
magazine on the internet reposted that.
Meanwhile,
I'm gonna have to check this
while
out.
I'm not in my best shape right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to look like the Gladiator, shirt off, doing the Turkish get-up. But, yeah, no, Train Magazine put it up. A bunch of people put it up. But, yeah, simplistic. We don't change the wheel.
The crazy part is it's simplistic, but that's really what science is when you break it down. You know what I'm saying? I could get all scientific. Even though I sound like a Goomba, I actually have intelligence, what people told me. But as far as the simplicity of it, I always... Yeah, but listen, what's my favorite quote? Arrogance is earned, okay?
I mean, he admitted he didn't know anything about hockey. That was a big step.
Nothing.
You don't know it?
Not a stitch. Not a... One thing I did find out, or I didn't know, they are probably one of the toughest human beings, and naturally just...
Like get their teeth knocked out and continue playing.
Yo, and the crazy part is, they were all big, barley-looking Canadian, Minnesotan type
cutting
dudes.
trees down in the off-season.
Correct. And they all had smoking hot girlfriends, so they were doing something right, you know what I'm saying? But again, regardless of that, this is the game that we're talking about. Strength and conditioning, it's just been proven over the years, in the past really 20, 30 years, what that actually can turn an athlete into. It can turn an athlete who has all the talent in the world. He obviously has to have the brain,
absolutely,
or the drive and all that stuff, into a super athlete. Really, and that's the key.
And one of the biggest things I see lately is now I call them like YouTube trainers or social media trainers, where someone might lose a lot of weight. Right. Congratulations to them. It's an awesome task and goal to accomplish, but it doesn't make you a trainer.
Correct.
And then they all like, hey, I could train you. Correct. And they try to take on clients. Like, what are you doing? You're not a trainer.
You know, when their IG ends with fit at the end of their name, it's not real. It's not real. It's not real, ever.
When the IG ends in fit, they're full of shit. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
You're going to have to edit this out? I don't realize that.
You said bull crap trying to be polite.
I did. All right, so getting back to that, and I'm not here to rant or anything like that.
No, absolutely not. But, there's a difference between professionals.
He brings this out of me anyway. So once again, with them, and I believe this is like this in almost any industry. Like if you talk to a financial advisor, you got a lot of those guys that they say they work. Let's say they work for Morgan Stanley or something like that. There's day traders who they don't have a lick of experience, lick of education, anything, and then they think they're financial experts. So it's the same concept with fitness and training. But I always do see this. I may get aggravated about it. What I like to do with that is I like to ask the consumer. I would always ask the consumer, why did you pick me? Why did you contact me out of everybody? Because they could tell, and smart people now, who is full of shit and who is not, based on what they do. I'll give you an example. You see trainers, they put videos up all the time of who? Themselves.
Yep.
They write eons and novels, right? Under their pictures, novel captions. If you have the time to do that 3 times a day, what are you doing with yourself?
Not training.
You're not training people. So if you're, truth be told, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. You follow me? I don't got time to do that. I barely have time to text people back at times. You know what I'm saying? So listen, again, not to get on a rant. He could tell you the same concept with any kind of MMA guys. These guys, some of these guys are full of shit. They're doing just to say I've done something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They lose a lot of weight. It doesn't mean nothing. I personally, it used to bother me more, but I personally say, okay, you know what? If you're not hurting anyone, now mind you what I just said, if you're not hurting anyone, and you're excited about something, good for you, bro. Whatever makes you feel better about yourself. But then when you try to add expert advice to something, you are going to hurt someone.
Absolutely, because now you're putting them in danger from a position that they might be in correctly if they're with a professional, but now you don't have that experience or the knowledge to put them in that spot, and now they're in danger because they don't know how to lift correctly.
Well, believe it or not, I'm going to circle back to that topic, but believe it or not, I like to hype him up So, like, I'll get him started, but then I'm also the guy that'll calm him down. So, like I had him hyped up one of our sessions where he legitimately was just going off about people, trainers, just the whole nine. And I was like, guy, you have to understand, like, all success, especially with social media nowadays, whether it's
Absolutely.
fitness, MMA, whatever, everybody wants to post every move you make, right?
Yep.
That's what they want to do. They want the world to see. Behind closed doors, what people don't see is where your success is.
The hard
And
work, yeah.
So people will come out and they'll try to imitate. There was a time he didn't want me putting up videos because it's like, I don't want people trying to copy what I do. It doesn't matter. They could try, but they don't know what your thought process was. They don't know how you put it together. They don't know about the years that you spent studying certain things to be where you're at. Everyone sees now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's the same way. You see it all the time. All these kids want to be Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
They want to be Conor McGregor. They want to talk trash and make millions of dollars. Conor was grinding.
Oh, yeah.
Grinded
Yep.
to talk trash. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It doesn't just happen.
Which goes back to what? Arrogance is
Earned. But
Absolutely.
back to the same thing, like he said with the MMA trainers or aren't real trainers. They're out there teaching self-defense or moves. What happens? The fighters get beat up and the fighters get hurt. It doesn't work. It's not real. You don't know what you're teaching. It's the same way. You're putting people in danger. Maybe not in the same way of them hurting themselves with weights falling on them and knees and backs, but you're going to walk around feeling safe now,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, what you're doing don't work. I call my techniques battle-tested, war-proofed, because they've been through. I have the wins and losses to show it, and I teach all different ways. I'll teach you how to do it fighting-wise, like rule-based, and I'll teach you how to do it in the street, like where there are no rules. Like I tell my kids I train, if they're getting bullied and they put a kid in an armbar, I want his arm. Like, bring it home.
stuff like that. Just what
You
you're
know?
saying to kids and stuff like that. It generates in people's brains. You know what I mean? It plants
Yeah.
a seed. Danny said something to me one time. I was annoyed about someone literally, and like again. I literally do I have gotten copied in this industry like you have no clue. All right, even the marketing, whatever. But Danny had said something to me, and I really can't remember exactly what he said. That just put it into perspective. That I think he pointed at one of my covers. He's like Men's Fitness. He's like, Anthony, you got to understand something. Who is that?
And that's what they see.
Yeah.
That's what they see. They see the end result.
Yeah.
But they don't see the mile journey. So they're going to copy what they're seeing now. Basically what I said to them. They're going to copy what they see now. They're going to copy you putting up your clients with their shirt off, and they're going to see what magazine picture you did and what pose you're doing.
Absolutely.
This. But they don't see, like I said, they don't see the Cortland years. They don't know that you were coaching hockey right out of college. They don't know that you've worked with me, that you work with other MMA fighters. You work with fighters that haven't even had fights yet that are getting ready. You've done so much for so long, but no one's seen it. That's the way success is built. It's just that grind. That's what I told them. I said,
Absolutely.
yeah, they're gonna copy. Everyone wants to copy the best, right? That's the reality of it. Like, this dude was on. I'll never let him know, but he's on the same magazine that Mark Wahlberg, Vin Diesel, like famous people are on.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
jerk off face got to be on it. But it is what it is, and that's what they see. Hell yeah! If I'm in the fitness industry, I want to do that too. Why can't I be on?
They miss all the sacrifices you have to make and everything. The hard, like you said, the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, but he's not lying about not having time. If I give up my slot for whatever reason, I can't train Wednesdays anymore. You have to hound him to move somebody to get me in, and he won't do it. Like, it's literally, it'll take me.
It's that commitment you have with everyone else.
He's so busy. I have friends hit me up that ask, can you put in a word for him to train him? And I'm like, to be honest, I can put in a word, but he doesn't have the time. You can reach out to him. He's going to tell you, like, he'll write you a diet, he'll sit down with you, he'll find time there. But as far as, like, being in the gym and training, like, there's very limited space.
Besides the fact that, I've been working with Danny, he's also one of my best friends, I have to be honest with you. We did grow up together. He's a little younger than me, so we know everybody. We all grew up together. We have a niche in the industry that a lot of us actually grew up together, and I always say that is actually priceless. We have a couple of our best friends own NutriWolf or nutrition stores. So shout out to Darren and Ronnie NutriWolf. They built such an incredible business that the guy helped me succeed, and vice versa, and Danny and Yeah.
I met him. I was going through my divorce. I was thinking about coming back and fighting. I'm sitting in the back talking to Darren. Anthony's back there. We start talking, and we both just went through a crazy divorce. Things ain't great. And then I was like, yo, I gotta start training. And then it's been rolling since.
And again, I always say something like, okay, yeah, you got all the drive and you got all the stuff, but you also have to have a righteous way of thinking, and you also, all the good people and people with good hearts always stick together, and honestly, that is priceless. You're never really successful by yourself if you have a good heart. You got a lot of people that help you, and vice versa. So stuff like that is priceless, and I will never, ever, ever let that stuff go. You know what I'm saying? How many scumbags do you know in coaching and in the industry? Like, there's so many. And if you notice, snakes stick together. They always find each other.
That's true.
And they tell you that it's everybody else.
Yeah.
They
That's
find
true.
each other and they blame everybody else.
And it's amazing. And you sit back and you just watch, be like, again. And you know, they jump from lily pad to lily pad. You know what I'm saying? But again, like that's why I always say we have, success for all of us is a combination of our hearts, our good intentions. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that really, I couldn't be more like, and only best friends, remember, can make fun of each other to their faces, okay? If you notice, if anyone ever says anything about me behind my back to Danny, that's when he punches him in the face, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's the crazy part.
Is that code?
Absolutely.
Well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's a rare thing, and it's priceless.
It is a rare thing. Yep.
You have it, keep it.
I like talking trash. I like getting them aggravated. I really do. I enjoy it. I like getting him worked up to where he's legitimately yelling, and I just look at him like, I don't know why you're so mad, bro. Calm down. Like, I do it all the time. But yeah, no, it's this whole game. People identify themselves quick, and what people forget. It's a small island. Small world.
It is a very small island.
Forget the world. It's a small island.
It's a very
Somehow,
small island.
There's 12 people that that know me if I never met you. Like, it's just, or someone's related or whatever.
Remember that.
So,
Always remember that.
Listen, there's people that may not have the best version of me or think the best version of me. I really don't care, but people that know me know the best version. And that's it. And whatever, we're a team. We're a team.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the best part too. Like honestly, even commentating with you, me and him, like there was nothing better than that. Like it was so fun because
That was a blast.
Yeah, it was just so fun because honestly, number one, we're all good at it. Let's be honest. So nothing. As far as speaking, all that other stuff, that was so fluent. It literally was like I was just hanging out with my buddies. You know what I'm saying?
It was awesome because, like you guys brought your expertise
Correct.
and your fields to it.
Correct.
And that added that value to it. That just brings it to another level.
Yeah, and then when you have a combination of everything, like me and him feed off each other all the time. You know what I'm
and
saying?
you got the friendship.
Correct.
So right away, that puts the spin on it,
absolutely.
the humor into it.
Absolutely. But
And then you have you who's been doing this forever. So you have somebody that can steer it where it's supposed to go, right? Call it the way it's supposed to. But then you have, I've done commentary where the people don't want to include anyone else.
Oh, they want to just ramble and just talk by themselves.
And you would ask, that dude's jacked. Anthony, what do you think he does to get here? Like, you included everybody, and it made it fun. I will want to hear live on the record that who was right about wearing the suits? Yeah.
Fly. You got he was I'm gonna say. I was really. You even say no, but he looked at us and he goes, "You guys are crazy." But he was correct. He was correct about the suit. I give him tons of credit without him knowing, and vice versa. So, no.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. I give him credit. The suits.
It's funny. I'm glad that you guys wore suits. That show, I didn't wear them. Wear a suit because it was so damn hot. But usually I wear a suit and tie all the time. And it's funny because I'll walk around at other shows and they'll asking me where to put things, and the DJ's, where do you want me? Over there. I don't know. I don't even know who you are. Yeah, they think I'm the boss.
I looked at it as I've been to so many of these events, and normally I'm in sweatpants or shorts because I'm either fighting or coaching or whatever.
In the corner for someone,
So why not go professional for once? Why do
Absolutely.
that other side? You know what I mean? And that's how I looked at that. And when as weird as this is, he messaged me, asked me what I was wearing. Yeah, he did. He messaged me. He's like, yo, what are you wearing tonight? And I was like, I'm going to show you. And I sent a picture of the suit.
I was like, all right. I said one thing. I said, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. That's all I said. Hanky, that's it.
You got to go all in.
If we're going in, we're going in. And that's all I said. But yeah,
Absolutely.
That was fun, man.
Yeah, it was a blast. So let's get into, I guess, like the MMA stuff and like your training guys and all. Now you got guys who come in and they're like, oh, I want to jump right in. I want to be a champion, UFC champion. I see this with the MMA guys, the amateur guys. I've been doing this 12 years and it doesn't change. Right. Now we're talking about guys who either too much muscle and they're not getting enough oxygen to their muscles, or you get guys who don't weightlift at all,
right,
and they need to find that happy medium where to bring their body to have enough strength but keep the stamina.
Well, yeah. I mean, initially, when it comes to any athletes, I do, there's protocols. I got to test their endurance. You got to take their body fat. All that stuff is so essential because then
Absolutely.
That is how you're going to know as an expert where to tweak the programs. Like, for instance, I know I don't really have to get Danny's I mean, I do get it up, but I know endurance-wise, Danny is elite when it comes to it. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like certain things like weight loss or what he's eating on the weekends, that's where I know that we got to actually get a little bit more intense with Danny. You know what I mean? Danny tends to put on muscle, So I know what I always like to do, and not a lot of people understand this. I go very high repetition for muscle endurance with someone like Danny, or he's going to build too much muscle, which is going to hurt his functionality. Same concept with any fighter, a boxer, anything like that. A baseball player, I know their rotational power, all that stuff cannot be inhibited, right, with too much bulky muscle. You know what
Absolutely,
I'm saying? So that's the key, what I do. I have to assess. Basically what it is I mimic certain movements that I know they're going to do with resistance and endurance training, which is functional. There's something called linear training, which is straight, like machine bodybuilding type stuff. That's linear. Functional is actually how someone moves. So that's the difference. And once again, this is stuff that has to be learned and then practiced in a field. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, going back to certain things with like trainers and stuff like that, you got tons of, I call them bookworm trainers. They collect certifications up the yin yang. They have degrees up the yin yang, but they cannot functionally relate to anybody and
they haven't tested it in real life.
Correct. And they don't, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the trainers that act like they know what they're doing and they don't have a lick of education. So that's what I mean when it comes to stuff like that. But as far as MMA guys, it depends on their experience. It depends on, like how many fights they've had. I always say, well, what made you successful in the past? If someone tells me they're cutting weight or whatever, tell me what you did. I want to know. I want to know what made you successful and what you feel that you could work on. So there's an assessment process there when it comes to that.
Okay. How often do you get a guy to be like, I'm a street fighter?
All the time. Well, what I was going to say.
That shit makes me laugh every time.
To the cut and weight thing was where it's just like there's mutual respect. When he has fighters coming up and they have to make weight, he'll actually ask me like, yo, this is where they're at. What do you think? Man, because I've been doing it. I've cut a lot of weight through my career, and as I've gotten older, I've learned how to do it the right way. But like he'll come to me and just be like, yo, this is where I think I'll have him at. What do you think? This is what I want to have him at tomorrow. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah. And if he's not, do this, this, and this, and it's there's a mutual respect there. Back to the guys coming in. I mean, some of the stories I hear. I had a dude tell me one time that nutrition is bullshit. Fighters don't. Why am I taking supplements? Fighters don't take supplements. They don't need to work out. They don't do any of that. I'm like, okay. Like, whoever told you that, glad. Keep believing whatever you need to believe, guy. That's why you're 135 pounds soaking wet and can't put a pound of muscle on. You know what I mean? Like, the street fighter thing, I mean, listen, I came up a street fighter. I wrestled in high school, but I got to a lot of street fights. Do I think that helped me in my fighting career? No. You know what I mean? Because what happens in a street fight? You see red.
Yeah, absolutely.
You swing, you see red. It took me years to be able to get hit and be like, all right, why'd I get it? Because I could take a shot. That's been my one go-to my whole career. You could hit me with something. I'm not going down. But I don't want to keep getting hit with them. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be able to analyze
instead of going nuts. You got to
Yeah.
analyze how did I get hit? Why did I get hit? Where was I? How can I move? How did I not see that coming? And it all happens in split seconds. But the Street Fighter thing makes me laugh. Just all around the YouTube watcher. It's another great one. I just watch YouTube. I had a guy. True story.
Going back to the YouTube trainers. Yeah, I saw this video. Oh, okay.
True story. I was getting ready for one of my pro fights. It was at one of the gyms I was training at. Actually, it was Evolution Combat Club back when it was in Sayville, and Doug Cota was the head instructor over there. I was training with him, and we had a new kid come in. Right. So now I'm getting ready for a pro fight. New kid comes in, doing MMA training. We got little gloves on, light striking. We're like, oh, what do you know? He's like, oh no, I'm new. I don't know anything. All right. So light grappling, teach him some stuff. He drops down for a leg lock. All right. Like, first off, you don't know how to do a leg lock, you could hurt somebody. If you don't know how to get out of a leg lock, you can hurt
that's
somebody.
a dangerous
And I got a fight
submission.
coming up. I sit up and literally just tap him with a punch. Literally just tap. The kid goes out cold. Out cold. I looked at my coach mortified because I'm like, I swear to God, I didn't hit the new guy hard.
killed him.
Yeah. So we wake him up, and I'm like, yo, guy, I thought you said like you never did like anything. He's like, I've been doing ninjutsu for 3 years. Like, so say you trained. Like, don't come in here and say you didn't train and sandbag because then you get knocked out. You know what I mean? Like, but I can't emphasize enough how light this punch really was, and this kid just went to sleep. I felt terrible, but I didn't.
It's kind of crazy to think about how some people have the ability to take, like Chris Wade, for instance, we all know him. He took some heavy shots all the time in his career, and he just keeps trucking through it. And then you see other guys who get, like you said, little light tap, and boom, they're out cold.
Once you go out, too,
it always
it starts to
diminish.
Diorio asked me in the last fight, because he hit me with a crazy overhand that I didn't see coming, and I ate it. And he asked me after the fight, he's like, how'd you not go down after that? And I was like, I've been doing that my whole career. I can't tell you. I just lucky. You know what I mean? Just lucky.
That kid was tougher than we thought.
Yeah.
Awkward.
But
I personally believe a lot of times what goes into it is also how people weight cut. So if you're weight cutting and you're dehydrated, I'm sure it's easier to go out quicker.
I heard also too, it's how good a shape. I've heard theories of it's how good a shape you're in.
Because
if you have the ability to recover, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're
recovered.
No, but it's like how good your breathing is, or whatever.
Is it like your lung capacity?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your aerobic capacity.
That you can recover when you get rocked quicker than somebody that's not in shape. That's what I've heard.
That has he nailed it. And again, that's where I come in when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So I like to make, and especially fighters, I like to make everything so exhausting for them to get to them in such incredible shape that, listen, a no cut is easy, fun, or anything like that. So that's not the point.
It's 3 pounds, 5 pounds.
Right, but it's about how you bounce back after you actually add the nutrients, the vitamins, all that stuff back in you. And then on a fight day, it's not just adrenaline, that you're going by. That is what he's talking about. It's your endurance. It's your lung capacity.
That's the word I was looking for, was endurance.
Yeah, it's your endurance and your lung capacity and functionally. Now, remember, there's aerobic, which is like a runner, and then there's anaerobic. So you have to have both. So anaerobic is like getting his heart rate all the way up as high as I can and then lowering that. So that's the endurance that we're also talking about when it comes to that. And again, that is where the science of strength and conditioning really, really came in. Believe it or not, going back in history, the first people to really master this stuff were the Russians. Russians, strength and conditioning.
They hold you underwater, freezing water. Like, how does
I
that feel?
Miserable. Miserable. I didn't say they didn't kill certain people, but that is the truth, and that's. Yeah, there was no question. Okay, he's dead. 2 minutes. Next. But,
Take another shot of vodka.
Yeah, if you go into, and again, I was always fascinated by all that stuff. So, the history of what I'm doing, you know what I mean? But, again, and if you look at, the Olympic lifters or the Russian Olympic anything, those athletes, endurance athletes, they were blowing people away. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Russian wrestlers, they were, for the longest time,
The
they were
biggest.
dominated.
Dominated, and why? Because they actually knew the science, and they almost developed the science of strength and conditioning, and then everyone kind of copied it. Listen, the United States really took it to the threshold when it came to a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Naturally and unnaturally. You know what I mean? But as far as the science of strength and conditioning, once again, like we said before, we could turn an athlete into a super athlete if we do it correctly. You know what I mean? That's the key. That's the key.
It's funny because you always hear about like guys like DC, Dan Cormier, and the Olympic level athletes who burn their lungs out before they get in there, and then they get in there and they have all this endurance.
Yeah.
It's like, how do they just go and burn their lungs out for 2 hours and then come in and continue?
That's what they have to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're sitting here talking about strength and conditioning. You coach football. How often do you have your kids lift?
They during season about 2 nights a week.
That's what I'm saying. And that's, you learn that over the years. You know what I mean? But there's a reason why. There's a reason for everything. And that's what I feel like a lot of people don't understand. Even like, I'll have my fighters on Saturdays. Anyone that have fights coming up, I teach a kickboxing class, and then I do a fitness class. I do I guess you can call it a conditioning class, where I work out with them. I put myself through a routine, something that, whatever, it's mishmash of whatever I've done with him, but put together. And I tell him, I'm like, yo, there's a science behind this, whether you believe it or not. There's a reason why I want these powerful. There's a reason why I want these with speed. There's a reason why I want to rest. Even like stupid like box jumps, coming off box jumps. There's explosive box jumps down to the decreased step down. Like, I got to develop these muscles on you. You've never done them before. And these people look exhausted the first or second time in because you've never done it before, you know? And they're like, oh, how often should I do this? Just do it Saturdays with me. Just do it Saturdays with me. Like, once a week, that's all I need out of you, you know? We got training throughout the week. But
completely. I mean, again, as far as what Danny has said, when it comes to conditioning, that's something that has to be developed. Natural athletics, hand-eye coordination, all that stuff, you got it. So conditioning, especially any kind of, sports conditioning or anything like that, that's something that has to be developed. Look at any successful athlete recently and a non-successful, or someone that could get there.
There's a lot of participating in the sport, like wrestling. You can only get in wrestling shape by wrestling. You can run miles.
Yeah, you can run miles, have that stamina. Yep, that's how it was in college.
100%, bro. Absolutely.
Like before our matches in college, we work out and run, and then after, as soon as you were done your match, go in the hallway, we're sprinting.
Yeah.
Between matches in the tournament, yep.
Was the wrestle.
But yeah.
You had to get those practices
where you're getting live. It's just live, 45 minutes. Yeah, oh yeah.
Miserable.
Oh yeah.
Even in high school, we dragged ourselves home miserable because after training we did carry each other.
And think about that too. Like, there was actually no sports nutrition science in high school. They didn't give a shit. They just killed you.
The athletic director that told you couldn't cut weight with the sauna suits and you had him hidden.
Yo, like literally, like
the ice packs going on in the thermostat in the wrestling room. It's like 95 degrees.
They actually dangerously dehydrated you.
Oh, 100%.
And
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
But we did it to ourselves.
Yeah. But
I will not say that we were.
So I only cut weight once in high school, and that was I played football at about 256, and I went down to 215 in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the only hydration was the hose. You actually had the hose. You know what I'm saying?
I literally ate a lot of lettuce sandwiches.
Yeah. That's hydration. You do that. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
my dad's a wrestling coach, so he guided me in the proper nutrition to get down there and stay down there.
As you were saying too about your football plays in season, you still have them lift twice a week. That is so perfect because you're still getting blood in the muscle, but you're also giving them something called recovery, which is so essential. Off season, obviously you're making them lift more. You have them on a different program, but that's another thing people don't really understand, that recovery is so important when it comes to anything. It is crucial.
Because you get to that level, right, and then you plateau. And then if you just keep plateauing, what are you going to just go down? Correct. But if you rest, and I've seen the science because I've taken some kinesiology classes, once you plateau and you rest, now you're able to continue to climb, and it brings you to the next level.
I understand the thinking also, but so people don't understand this. When you're lifting and you're training your muscles and you're lifting heavy, whatever the case, you're breaking down the muscle. You're only building or rebuilding the muscle at your rest period, at your hydration period, and at your nutrition. All that stuff is really important because that's how you're rebuilding your muscle fibers stronger. You're breaking that crap down when you're training. You're beating the crap out of your muscle fibers. So that essential, I'm doing this, I'm going to overtrain. People have been overtraining for years and they don't even understand the science of it. It's the rest and recovery that's the most important.
Absolutely.
There's days where you just take a couple of days off and you come back in the next day and crush the gym. And you just don't understand why because you've never done it before. And then it's just the recovery.
Now, several years ago, CTE became a big thing in football. Pro football, the whole scandal and all CTE. And one thing I always curious about is how much they said the hitting causes it to the head, the brain. But they never really mentioned, though, like steroids. Now, everyone knows 80s, 90s, earlier than that, there's always steroids involved.
Quote Nick Diaz, you're all on steroids?
Yeah, like everyone was involved. Now, I want to know how much of that is involved because we know it deteriorates the body.
All right, listen, I have my opinions. I've studied tons of this stuff. So steroids has a big effect on your joints. It rebuilds your muscle faster. That's what steroids do. Mm-hmm. So it helps you. It aids. It's artificial testosterone, so it rebuilds your muscles faster. Where the problem is, people don't understand, it does not rebuild joints. It does not rebuild ligaments. So as the muscles are growing, as the muscles are getting stronger, whatever.
All apart.
Correct. As far as any CTE, there's really no correlation to that with steroids. All right. As far as anger, as far as all that other stuff. It's crazy you say it because I actually do have a new client. His name's Jason Ism. I don't know if you know who he is. He's from North Babylon.
Okay.
He moved to Texas, but he was a lineman for the 49ers, lineman, and then he went to the Eagles. Okay. Incredible player, whatever the case. He has CTE now, so he has very bad brain issues. So I've been working him recently. We've been doing FaceTime, stuff like that. The impact of that sport, they're just really understanding is what really affects. It actually kills part of the brain with blood flow. You know what I'm saying? So that's the crazy part about that. But this kid's still, he's still doing his thing. I got him on a nutrition program. We have to monitor a lot of stuff because he's on a lot of medication. That's the other thing people don't understand. At medications and certain foods and supplements, you can't combine. I can't give him certain things. Like, for instance, like there's a chemical in like grapefruit, for instance. There's a lot of people that grapefruit's great for fat burning and, spiking your insulin, whatever. On medications, certain medications like blood thinners, things like that, you can't put someone on a grapefruit or citrus. It'll actually hurt them really bad. You know what I mean? So the nutrition of it is very, very important.
With that, though, my father, God rest his soul, would tell stories of when he would play. My father was a quarterback at Hofstra, all over the place. He remembers in high school getting leveled, knocked out cold.
Oh, yeah.
And my grandmother, who worked in the hospital, came over with smelling salt, and they woke you up and put you right back out on the field. So I think it wasn't necessarily that. It was more of they didn't understand the trauma when it happened, because now, a kid gets hurt, he goes out cold, he's instantly going to the hospital,
cold, he's done,
he's getting an MRI, he's going in the
You're out
ambulance.
of the game.
Back then, they were like, yo, kid, win the game. We all grew up like that. You took shots, cracked your helmet, So I think that was a major part that no one really, I don't think brain trauma was really studied like that.
Well, all right, so let me clarify this. So, please. Okay. Brain trauma now it wasn't studied as much. However, there is way more cases in the past 20 years for a reason. Now, remember what I told you about strength and conditioning. As the science of that has increased, we are making these athletes super
bigger, faster, stronger.
Okay? And that's why specifically football is getting more dangerous because we are actually, and not in a lab, we are creating through the science of, now we know what to do. We are creating through the science of strength and conditioning these super powerful monsters, fast.
300 pounds running 4.5.
4.5s. That did not happen back in the day. Right.
No.
So that really should correct.
Yeah.
And that's us. That's what we are doing to them.
Damn train coming
It really is. And honestly, they're not.
Well, it's funny because you think about it. Like the guy, all the older guys I coach with, say 50 and older, they all play college football and stuff, and their hands and their legs and everything's all like fucked up and shit. Yeah,
Mutilated.
And, yeah, the one guy who played for the Jets, his fingers just pointing that way. Yeah.
They fixed it, he went right
Yeah,
back.
everyone's got sorts of, like, I remember hearing injuries from a guy who we used to coach with, played for the Lions. He'd be, after a game, he'd be in bed for days and would have to get like catheter and stuff just because he couldn't walk for days after the game till you can, and then you're back at practice. Like, who would want to do that?
But, the science and the technology of what, again, the colleges have developed in kinesiology and exercise science and sport and nutrition, we're making these people that much bigger, faster, and stronger. And that is, to answer your question, that's
Nowadays, too, I feel like they're just naturally bigger and stronger.
There's something in the milk.
Yeah, there's something.
well, they're also getting, like, we never had a Parisi speed school back in the day. They're also getting strength and conditioning for
like 3 years
right, which is
Yeah.
we never did that. We literally were lighting fires in a sump. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have. Yeah, it was running from police. I mean, correct?
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, that really is
And then the hurdles is over the fence.
over the fence. Barbed wire.
Keep running.
Yeah.
Keep running.
Trust me. Yeah, I know. But that really is, that now that I really just kind of contemplated what you said, that really is the reason. That's why
Makes
it's
sense.
coming out. That's really the reason.
Makes sense. And it's sad because you hear about the guy from, I think it's West Babylon, Belcher, who was here and ended up killing his wife and kid or whatever, and then shot himself in the parking lot in Kansas City. It's sad to hear. It's like, how much is that CTE? How much is that maybe? I'm not saying that he did steroids because I don't know, but say maybe he did steroids, and I'm just curious to how much that's all linked together because.
There is no correlation between that.
Okay.
There isn't. So, I mean, the science, there really isn't. Brain trauma has correlation to that because it shuts down certain emotions. Rational, 100%. Like rational thinking, certain emotions, it increases depression immensely.
Okay. Yeah,
so they're
makes
really,
sense.
Yeah, but that going hand in hand without the actual study, though, if somebody was doing steroids and then working out every day and now they're injured and they can't, their dopamine levels are going to plummet, which is then going to add to even more of the depression and unrational thinking.
Correct.
So, I mean, in hindsight, there could be.
Yeah.
There could be. I don't think you'll ever know because they'll never want to open that can
You'll
of
never have a
worms.
real reason why anyone does
They won't
anything.
open that can of worms because they won't want them being like, oh, the whole NFL was on steroids.
Yeah, no, agree.
Right.
That's why I've never seen, like, you'll never know. NFL will never go like, hey, these many guys were doing this. These guys weren't doing anything.
Never.
What's the movie, The Program?
Well, you saw Bigger, Faster, Stronger, the movie Bigger, Faster,
Yeah.
Stronger, right? That's an incredible movie. Now, that does not advocate steroids. It gives you a perspective on what they do, what don't they do, the bad parts and the good parts. Truth is, we don't know long-term studies like the vaccination that people are. You don't know those long-term studies because. No, I'm not starting.
Well, it's funny because my dad always said he's 65 now, and he used to heavy in the weightlifting, played college football, and it was what he was all about. And you lift, big strong lineman, and he's like, no one really talked about what it did to you down the road and how much impact just constant weight training had on you.
This is very true, but again, they didn't.
They didn't have the
knowledge or yeah.
For that, like that's like heavy squats. If you're destroying joints, you're not
joints.
doing like a ring.
Yeah.
You're coming in the gym and doing flies and hanging out. You're pushing weight to push people around.
Correct.
You're pushing a lot of weight all the time. You're beating your body up.
Yep.
You don't know any better because that's what you were told to do. Listen, when I was in high school, they had us in
The weight room.
Football, it was squats, bench press,
Row.
shoulder shrugs, and rows.
Rows.
And that was what they tested on everything. So you didn't know any better.
That's your meat and potatoes strength exercises. However, those are still the best exercises to do for strength done safely.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The problem is back in the day they didn't understand that your knees could be inverted. Your back could be you could blow out. A lot of stuff that happened back then they don't really understand that caused massive energy.
There's a lot of technique and things you have to look for. No question. To be honest.
And And once again, when I went to Cortland. Cortland and Springfield were one of the first, I believe on the East Coast, I don't know about national, first programs to actually focus on exercise science and strength and conditioning. So I started learning that stuff when I started in college. That stuff blew my mind. Techniques, certain things. Because again, in the weight room in high school, you had the little weight room with the rusty weights. Yes. Right. Well, I tell a story how my ego was just destroyed in college, and that's when I really started getting into it. Truth be told, I told this for Muscle Sport magazine. Like literally, I'm in the weight room, and I'm just an arrogant little hat back. My hat's backwards, my pants are down to my, I thought who the hell I was. I put two 25s, a 25 and a 25 on a 45-pound bar. That's 95 pounds. I tried to lift it on a bench press, and it crushed me. So a guy, big dude, fucking brought it up, and I was literally mortified. And I always said to myself, that's never happening again. So that's when I really started getting into the science of all that stuff. But it takes humiliation sometimes, which I'm not great at. It takes humiliation sometimes to teach you a life lesson.
Yeah. What I got to figure out is what machines you use here, and I got to change the weights. So you're going to put in, you're going to go pick up a 25-pound plate. It's going to be really a 100-pound plate.
Let's get one of those foam ones.
Yeah. Oh, what's the matter, guy? You can't get it up?
So then, talk about the dangers, and when you see some of these high school kids, and you don't see any coaches around. You see it on YouTube, Instagram, all these videos. These usually bigger linemen, they're trying to in the squat rack, sitting down, lifting, and they have a million plates on it. It's awesome you can lift 1 million pounds, but how bad is that for you to just one rep? What is that really proving?
It's terrible. It's actually terrible, and it really can hurt people. But then again, there's yings and yangs. So I had, for instance, I was training a lineman. Stephen Unknown was a lineman, and I was trying to build his quad strength up. So I actually had him lift very heavy weight on a squat rack, but half reps for a reason. I had to do that for a reason. You got all these bookworm nerd trainers. Oh my God, you're gonna hurt him. Why are you doing half reps? 90, and literally someone, I didn't even know the person. Someone wrote to them. He's trying to build a 300-pound lineman, not a 90-pound pussy. So there's yings and yangs to everything. Yes, you have to have full range of motion with a lot of stuff, but then there's certain aspects of it that I'm trying to go half rep with to build his quad muscles up. So there's a lot of difference.
You see it though in the regular gym. You'll see it here. You see it all the time. People that don't know.
We're just doing a podcast. We're just doing a podcast right now.
They don't. You see the guy walking around that doesn't know what he's doing. Looks like he's gonna hurt himself. Or you see the guy that's trying to train some chick because he's trying to bang her. And
yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that happens all the time.
What he's doing. I went on a rant about it. One of your favorite rants, and I was like.
These girls, they put on their Tinder, their Bumble, hey, you gonna go work out? I mean, sure, I'll work out you, and then I'll plow you.
He's trying to fuck you. He's not trying to teach you how to lift.
And
it's all right, let's work the ass, all right?
Well, no, but they're on the leg press, and he's like, all right, fully extend, and they're locking their legs out.
Ooh.
I went over to one girl, and I was like, don't listen to a word this dude says. He's gonna blow your kneecaps. I'm not trying to hit on you. I just don't want it to happen when I'm here because I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. 100%. I'm 100% going to throw up,
Yeah.
Listen, that's inevitable. I'm sure that's been around for years, whatever. We're just seeing it way more because of all the social media and all this
absolutely.
other stuff. But that's funny when you see people in here that they're on gym dates. It's like, oh, they're so adorable. They're close to each other, and it's always the guy that, it's always the guy that's trying to act like the expert. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them fall for it, but what are you gonna do? I mean, we try to.
I guess if that works, your game works for you.
Listen, good for you, guy. Good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can't hate on the game. Hate on the player.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that happened. Yeah, honestly, and you really can get hurt. You really can. That's the worst part about it, but it is what it is, probably.
Absolutely. So what kind of advice would you give to someone walks in first day, no experience whatsoever? Where would you start them?
as far as
just like they want to lose weight, they want to gain some muscle, not do anything other than just for health reasons.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would always just hop on the cardio, do as much as you can, at least 20 to 30 minutes just to really get over that heart rate warm-up threshold. Very basic. And then start them on basic machines, like circuit machines, because it just teaches you movement. I call it just blood in the muscle. You know what I mean? There's a lot more complicated stuff. They're just trying to lose weight. They're trying to tone up a little bit like that. It's the basic movements, but the machines teach you that. That's the easy stuff because, again, it just puts blood in your muscle. It's very, very easy. You're not going to get hurt. I mean, if you get hurt on a machine, there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? But that's the basis. Yeah, you did something, But if it's a brand new person, I always say we got to do something called, a caloric deficit. You just got to eat a little less at this point. Get your heart rate going at an aerobic level. And then here's what people don't understand also about weight training, which is really important. You'll see a lot of these, I call them cardio queens. They'll do spin 3 times a day, every day for 10 years, not lose a pound. So that's called aerobic training. So you're burning calories while you're doing that aerobic training. With weight training, you're rebuilding muscle. So as you rebuild lean muscle, it makes you burn calories throughout the day. That's what people don't understand. That's why, that's a stigma. But like once these women start actually doing even basic weight training, it's rebuilding muscle. So it's helping you burn more calories because you're building lean mass.
Yeah, the more muscle you put on, burns the more
question.
fat.
I also feel that it should be your first day, and don't be afraid to ask for advice.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. People are scared. People are intimidated. And to the machine thing, my biggest pet peeve is I'll see people using the machines the wrong way. And they're bigger, stronger people or whatever, or they're doing the machine because they're doing it for a certain exercise that's not used for. So now you have people seeing it, and they think that's what it's used for. They have no idea why they're doing it. I see it all the time in all the gyms I'm in. I see that. I can tell you the new guys that walked in, the uncomfortable people. And it's a weird situation too, because sometimes I'll help them, but I don't want to overstep and
Yeah,
approach
I
them.
guess,
Some
yeah.
people are shy, timid.
Some people take offense to it.
Yeah. Don't be afraid, like I said, to ask for advice, to ask for a training session, to sign up for a training session. You come into the MMA gym, you don't just jump into sparring the first day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You'll learn the
you take
technique.
You take a class.
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
People don't generally approach me at all in here. It's like they just, I don't know. Maybe I'm unapproachable. Maybe they know me.
I feel like you're very well known though. If some people
that's
come
the
in
thing.
here,
But that's why they don't approach me because they're always like he's never going to train me or I'm not at that level or whatever the case. But there's trainers that are trying to gain experience. Even just speaking to people or interacting with people. That they have those type of trainers that literally just show you the basic stuff, and that's all you need. At that point, it's a calorie deficit. Doing a little aerobic, doing a little weight training. That's all you need. You'll be. People are blown away by just doing basic stuff. That how impactful it is to their health and their physique and their fat loss. It's very impactful. People don't understand stuff like that. Listen, just like anything, there's very complicated stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's basic stuff. I always say I compare it to this. Let's say he's a trainer at Planet Fitness or whatever the case, right? So McDonald's is still a restaurant, right? So is Tellers. So they're still considered restaurants, right? There's the difference there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Still considered restaurants.
Two
There's
big different-
completely
yeah.
different levels
Yeah.
of that. You know what I'm saying? So what Danny said, don't be afraid to ask people for help. There's always someone that's willing to help you. And, what people don't understand is they have to really make it a lifestyle. And that's really what it is.
So everyone out there, if you see Anthony working out, don't be afraid to go up, interrupt him during the set, ask him questions. All right, talk to him every time he's in here. All right, so that's that. You said you feel unapproachable. Listen, we want the people, all right, to approach you. Okay.
They can approach me all they want. Just, when I'm training or specifically when I'm training, that is my only time for me to get in my own head, in my own zone, because I'm answering questions all day. I'm talking to people all day. I'm explaining stuff all day. So just don't you could say hello, just don't tap me on the shoulder if you don't see me making eye contact. That's all.
Right in the middle of a set. And touch the bar, because then it doesn't count. That's the other rule. Touch the bar. In the middle, spot him and touch the bar.
If you want to go this route, I'm going to tell people to torture you.
Are you the type of guy, like you seem very passionate about weightlifting, training, strength and conditioning. Someone will ask you a question, and you seem like you're a guy who go on for days. You'll just talk about it.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
football, someone wants to talk football with me, I'll talk forever about football.
You can ask Anthony something he doesn't know. He's going to go on for days about how he doesn't know it.
That's not true. All right. So once again. All right. Now it depends on the situation. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of social. I hate small talk, and I have a lot of social anxiety lately when I'm out.
Yeah, he does.
So it's so crazy. So I don't like small talk.
You
So
want to go out next weekend?
so here's what
No, do it.
here's what people say to me, and this is what I don't like. Okay, and it's always these questions. They'll be at the bar talking. They'll be like, yo, let me ask you a question. How do I get rid of this? Right? It's like, okay.
Stop drinking that.
They have a beer in their hand.
But the best is like, I can't explain to you in 2 sentences how you get rid of that.
You should just start making things up.
Like,
That's what I would
yeah,
do
you should
next
be like,
week.
start puking after every meal.
Just start making I told you.
You should pick your nose right now.
I told you a dude did that. We had a seminar. I forget where I was, and then they were like, "All right, we'll take questions at the end." It was an MMA seminar. Somebody was like, "How important is diet?" And the guy with a dead serious face was like, "It's all bullshit. If you believe you're gonna lose weight, you'll lose weight. You want to eat that McDonald's?" And people are writing this down.
Bro,
like idiots.
let me tell you,
It's like,
I'd be
no.
that guy at that seminar that would stand up.
No, but he was doing it to be a jerk.
Oh,
because
all right.
It was a stupid question. That's what I'm saying. He told us at the end.
Right.
Somebody was writing down notes like this is true, and he's like, "Diet's 90% of this. You have to diet."
It's so
That's what
crazy.
you should start doing. You should, when they look at you, be like, "How do you get rid of this?" Be like,
Listen,
"Yo, you wish
people
it,
already
you
think
will,
I'm
it's gonna be
unapproachable. Now that story would go around and be like, yo, he blew me off, man. He told me to eat McDonald's or whatever. But like stuff like that, I'm not saying it irritates me, but like I'm at a bar, I'm at a social event, I'm eating dinner. Yo, how do I get rid of this, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Or like, can you train? Like, you know,
I guess
stuff
you
like
get those
that.
stupid questions. I get dumb questions about football.
Correct.
And I'm like, all right, you're an idiot.
Yeah, but like at the gym, if someone always asks me, so yo, let me ask you a question, you know, blah, blah, I always answer them. I always try to take the time. When I'm working out myself, I would always be like, yo, we can definitely talk about it. No worries, you know what I mean? But the thing is, it's like when they actually talk to me, they know I'm not unapproachable, but then it's just I guess it's the stigma. Yeah, it's the persona that they're afraid to even talk to me with certain things. But I'll answer anyone's question. People that get to know me and stuff like that, they know that I'm passionate about it, you know? But it is a pet peeve of mine if I'm out and I'm trying to socialize with my friends.
Yeah, I get that.
Trust me, the last thing I want to do is talk about nutrition and
Work.
fitness and all that.
He does walk around with his shirt off in the 2 magazine covers he was on.
You know
Don't
the-
ask me any questions.
bro.
We're at Tellers. He got no shirt on.
Bro,
And the 2
he's
magazine covers,
compl-
"Yo, why this guy ask me how to get abs?"
Bro, he's completely exaggerating. Truth is, I don't ever take my shirt off because I have that body dysmorphia. Second thing is I wear as baggy clothes as actual possible. I do have that body dysmorphia that I actually do not walk around with my shirt off. So that's an exaggeration. Now him, on the other hand,
That's hilarious because I got a big old gut, and anytime I can, my shirt's off.
It's a crazy thing how that works, though, bro. It's like I'll look at myself on a magazine cover. I'll be like, that's not me. Like that's not, you know. It's a weird. It's a weird thing with stuff like that, you know.
I'm the complete opposite. When I get in shape, my shirt's off. It's because I was fat. So whenever my shirt.
Hey, I'm fat and my shirt's coming off.
Own it.
Now you just mentioned the transition to the last topic of nutrition. We know a lot of young amateur MMA kickboxer, boxer guys don't realize how important it is to them, like losing weight and everything else. And then when they make that next step to the pro level, they're like, "Oh crap, I need to start now." And I always tell the amateur guys, they're like, "What do I need to do? Get to nutrition right away. Get to this right away. Get to that right away."
I deal with that. That is all the time when a guy needs to get at it. All right, they reach their threshold or something. Sports nutrition. Once I add that, you know, an example. You know, one of my boxers, Alex Vargas. As soon as we added that sports nutrition and that strength and conditioning, the difference in this, you know, this kid's performance is immense. He always had endurance, but the
He could always box, and then he started knocking people out.
knocking
Yeah, he's
people.
coming off a big win.
No, but like he was just.
Yeah.
He went from
Yep.
outboxing people because he's a phenomenal boxer and putting people to sleep.
That was
Legit.
That
Legit.
is what we do, like no doubt.
But the nutrition, the problem that people I feel like have with nutrition is the same problem that everyone has with nutrition. Right now, if you go to McDonald's, you can get a cheeseburger for $1. Go to
Yeah.
the store and buy a salad.
It's cheaper.
$6.
Yeah.
Right? So
Cost of it.
But, anyone that comes to me for diet advice, training advice, I always tell them, if you eat good, you'll feel good, you perform good. That's the reality. It just goes hand in hand, You eat like a bag of shit, you're going to perform like a bag of shit. It's just common knowledge. It shouldn't even have to be explained, but they get away with it in the amateurs because depending where they fight, what shows they fight on, the talent pool's not that good, right?
Yep.
So you fight heavier than you should be, you get away with some things that, all right, listen, I was guilty of it. Cutting weight, I had to make 145. If I made it, and even if it was by the skin of my teeth, I didn't change a goddamn thing because I made it. You're not going to make it next time. You know what I mean? What happens when one thing goes wrong and it doesn't happen, instead of being prepared and under? But that's how I always look at it. And then you have this talent pool that maybe they're not fighting the best guys. So say they're fighting at 185 when they really should be 155 pounders, because we've all seen it. But they just don't want to diet, they don't want to change whatever they're doing, and they're winning. Good. Then you run into a guy that's good, it's a real 185 pounder against a 155 pounder. What happens? Gets smashed. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I got to change everything I was doing. So
they learn the hard way with that. What I always like to say, this is the best analogy I could always, tell people. I compare your body and your digestion, your metabolism to a car motor. Okay? You got a high performance Lamborghini. Okay? Do you want to give that Lamborghini the high test fuel to have it perform the way it's supposed to, or do you want to feed it the low test fuel?
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Shitty fuel, like Danny said, makes you feel shitty. Really good fuel, the right amount of fuel, all that other stuff makes you feel better and perform better. I always say the thing also about the hydration level too. When people, remember, your body's made of water. So a car has gasoline, which is fuel, right? And oil, which helps your joints lubricate and move. So that's water. Water is oil, food is fuel.
Makes
so
sense.
think about that. That's the biggest thing that I always tell people.
And it's funny with the car thing, I use that for my fighters because I tell them that the guy you're fighting is going to weigh the same as you, right? So you both are the same make, model car. You weigh the same. Mm-hmm. If one gets in an accident doing 60 and one gets into an accident doing 80, which one does more damage? So the 80 does, which is back to the nutrition, back to the fast twitch muscles of the strength and conditioning with the speed. So it's funny how I never realized we were on the same page with that. I don't like it. I don't. Not going to lie. Yeah.
We're going to sleep like this.
I'm going to just take credit for it and told you that I taught you, so it's fine.
You heard that. You can't take credit for it now. It's patented.
Yeah, there you go.
It's patented.
Written down. It's recorded. That's awesome. Now, you guys bring a lot of experience and knowledge, which is awesome. And I really believe this is like a side of the sport of MMA. We know MMA is so young. It's only been legal in New York for a few years.
That's crazy.
And just the evolution from those few years ago. I remember going to shows for Flex Sports or whatever it is, the Flex Fights, when they were platinum gloves. And, yeah.
When they were KTFO.
Yeah, KTFO. And, yeah. And how they all evolved, and even the quality of the fighters evolved and stuff. I remember seeing Anthony Pettis when I was in Wisconsin, Sergio Pettis training, and all those guys, and the way they've evolved, and you just see their bodies change drastically. And
Notice how everyone walks around close to their weight class now?
Yep.
Nobody does
Drastic,
weight cuts
Yep.
anymore. They walk around close to, listen, there's still the fighters that are off season and walk around heavy. I feel like that's always going to be a thing because you come from the wrestling background. You know what I mean?
Yep.
During wrestling season, you're strict. During not wrestling season, you're not strict. But
they're all a little crazy in the head to begin with.
Yeah. But you start seeing the dudes of like Frank Edgar went down. Frank Edgar was at 155, walked around to 158, was still champ. You know what I mean? It showed that it didn't make a difference. Obviously he went down after that because things started happening. But I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I think you're going to start seeing. Or they're going to start implementing rehydration rules. That's why they got rid of the IV, right?
Yeah.
So they'll start monitoring you, or they'll want to monitor you during fight camp to see where your weight's at. There's ways. I also think they should change the weight classes. I think they should make it every 10 pounds, like kind of like a boxing, or every 8 pounds. To have a 155 to 170, you're forcing somebody to have to cut. Why not have a 165 pound class?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
To a 175. Or make the weight class 169 to 155, 170 to 184. And then you could have guys that may not be big enough to be in both, or now you could be a 170 pounder, you're a small 170 pounder, you could be a big 169 pounder. You know what I mean?
What he's saying, it's crazy how you say that. That all has to do with muscle mass now.
Yeah.
Like that actually has to do. You're going to see a lot of these fighters, and you have been seeing a lot of these fighters. They're in way better shape than they used to be 20 years ago, man.
And I was going to circle back to you talking about NFL football players, bigger, faster, stronger, different type of athlete.
No doubt.
Now, same thing. You're getting these different type of athletes in MMA. Yeah, and like you see UFC put in that Performance Institute over there, and it's a whole nother.
Go there.
Yep.
And be under their tutelage, and they watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Food, diet.
all strength and conditioning, man. That's it.
Recover. Main thing, recover. Ice baths.
Yeah, recovery is huge. That
Infrared saunas. All different types of.
And again, they didn't, obviously ice baths been around for, and again, don't reinvent the wheel. Ice baths and cold compress and cold showers is the best thing for inflammation and recovery. There's all, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't reinvent stuff like that. Like, people don't understand how important. You nailed it, man. Like, recovery is so important to even muscle growth or muscle regrowth. That's the biggest thing. And it's the science.
Yeah.
The science. And you always have to update. I graduated college, 18 years ago. So my God, it's 19 years ago. But it's like I have to always update my knowledge as well, but keeping my foundation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, they're teaching a lot. They're teaching more technological stuff or different types of science. Now, in Cortland or whatever the case, but it's still that same meat and potatoes science of what we're trying to do. Obviously, you update formulas. You know what I mean? That's the difference, though. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So, gentlemen, I greatly appreciate you guys doing this.
You are the
This
best.
was awesome. This was fun. Definitely have to do it again.
I
I'm
feel
gonna
bad
have to get
'cause I feel
another
like we
mic.
cut you off all the time.
No, not at all. I want to hear.
We do.
No, not at all. I want to hear you guys speak.
No, you cut me off.
Someone has to.
You cut me off.
Someone has to. This would be the Anthony show.
No. I don't like. I only like to speak when something like this.
You'll hand me the microphone, and then Kyle will ask a question that's directed at me, and then you're like, hold on. So that brings me back to a point of you did it like 7 times, and it's all on film. Listen, I was guilty.
True?
I was guilty for interrupting you a couple times, which I apologize, but it's just, this is a lot.
No, it was a good flow though. I thought it was great flow.
And I appreciate you always having us. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's the fights commentating or here, you're a pleasure to work with. You're awesome.
We'll definitely do this again. That's for sure.
Yeah, listen, I greatly appreciate you. Honestly, this isn't work or anything like that. This is just fun to me. I mean, I love this dude. More than you know. He's a pain in my ass, but like stuff like this is yes, it's marketing. It's helping people, whatever. It's also really fun, and you make it fun, so we appreciate it.
Awesome. Tell people how they can find you. Check out.
Find me in the weight room. Like that's the other thing I hate. I hate the
under the
corny.
rack.
I hate the corny T-shirt sayings, gains only. I hate them. He loves them.
Oh, yes.
I hate them.
If I know they bother you now, you thought the ones I had were bad. Oh, they're coming. They are coming.
You could find my social media is AT Method Training on Instagram. My company's name is Official Method Training. I do have a website that I have an assistant that handles all online stuff. It's officialmethodtraining.com. And that's basically it, man. You can find me there. Check out before and afters. Check out with all the athletes that we train, and that's it, man.
Awesome.
You definitely find them down here in the awesome ProFit too. Don't worry, I got you covered on the shout out. All right, ProFit Deer Park. You can find me on Instagram, Dan_K9_Cion Cion, and Dan Cion on Facebook. Once again, Kyle, man, thank you so much for having us, and it's always a pleasure.
Were you a dog trainer at one point?
No,
Hold on, see what I just did? I did that. I did that purposely.
Oh, you want to say something again?
I know. Truth be told, ProFit, he really nailed it. But ProFit is one of the best gyms on Long Island overall.
This is some facility.
Yeah, this
I've
is
never
a great
been here
facility.
before.
The owner, Alex, amazing. She updates the equipment constantly. She actually is an incredible marketer with all the murals. She knows the meat and potatoes of the industry. She knows the culture, and she knows, the people that help her. And she really is the best.
And they're going to be sponsoring Bobby Campbell's event, so
absolutely.
we'll see. They'll be there live at the show with a table. So
October 17th.
Yeah, we'll be there.
For those who want to check out Bobby Campbell's fight, October 17th, call him. Post the numbers on the poster I'm going to put up. Call, get some tickets. We'll also be streaming live on pay-per-view. As you said, Pro Fitness is going to be sponsoring it. Bobby Campbell making a big return, so it should be a great night of fights on Sunday, October 17th.
Yeah, man. I remember Bobby, fighting back in the day at what was that club called? They used to fight at Glow. I mean, that was years ago. It's crazy, but
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's been doing it a while. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Back in Sports Plus days when I first started.
Yeah.
Sports Plus, oh yeah. That's what year is that?
Sports Plus, we used to have the
2005, 2006.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was around here, but then I left for Wisconsin in 07.
They had the good
and then
basketball leagues. at,
Came back
Sports
in
Plus.
13. Yeah, I showed up one night. I was just looking for a fight. So I came back from Wisconsin, and I'm like, I got to find somewhere. I just show up. I'm like, I'm here for the media. And they're like, what? What? I'm like, I'm here to do cover. They're like, sure.
Here you
Bobby
go.
didn't know it. But he didn't have to call anyone from media.
Same thing when I walk in, and he knows me. We have the coverage.
Yeah. Go ahead. No problem. Yeah, it's the truth, man.
No, it's looking forward to Sunday night. That Sunday's going to be fun. And, I look forward anytime I get to sit up here and talk with you.
Yep.
Because, and especially with you too, Kyle.
Absolutely.
So, it's definitely, once again, just want to say thank you so much. And, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. This is Carroll's Corner MMA Podcast, and we're signing off.